Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel or my Instagram channel. My name is Charlotte Mallet and I'm here to show you how I made this card today. This card was created for the Creating Kindness Around the World blog hop, and our theme for this month was landscape. Create any landscape you want. So it could be, a mountain scene, or I chose a nautical beachy scene. It's a pretty quick card to come together. I'm just going to show you really fast what I did. The set we used is this stamp set called Sailing Home. This is a new set available from Stampin' Up. This is a traditional size card, 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. This piece right here, if you want to make along with me, is Sahara Sand. This is 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. Oops. Got cat hair. And this piece here, piece of watercolor paper, it's been trimmed down to, let me see if I can remember, 4 3/4 by 3 3/4. And we're going to start with the watercolor piece. And what we're going to do is we're going to take an aqua painter, and then the ink colors we're using are, no, did I use blue? I think that is Coastal Cabana. Yeah, Coastal Cabana, and a little bit of Calypso Coral, and a little bit of Petal Pink. So what we're going to do is we're going to quickly create just a simple little wet watercolor wash. Squeeze this to get a little water flowing for the background. Then we're going to lay in some of this Coastal Cabana on the bottom. I'm just going to lightly put it in. We'll come back and refine it once we get the color down. That looks pretty good so far. Then we will add Petal Pink. Let me color out the ink there. Petal Pink. Let's add a little here. Some people like to squeeze their ink pads to add color. I like to personally use ink refills. So I'll just add a little dot there, and then if by chance it drips back into the pad, it doesn't matter because it's the same color. But by doing that, then I have more ink to play with. And let's just pull that down here like so. That looks pretty good. Yeah, maybe just a little bit more in here. Okay, great. So now, we'll close those up. We're going to heat set this for just a second using heat tool. We'll heat till that's dry to the touch. A little bit more in the center. Very good. Okay. And now we're going to stamp our two boats. That's a little wet still, but I think that's okay. And our seagulls. Now you could use Versamark ink, which is great, and then heat set in black emboss powder. But I like to see on the watercolor paper where I'm stamping, so I'm going to stamp in VersaFine ink. You can just get that at your local craft stores. Let's see, I need to mount my boats. One. I should have mounted them beforehand, but I did not. So now you get to watch me do it. I'm just going to stick that to the block. We'll take this one, stick it to the block. We're also going to use this greeting, so we might as well mount that right now too and save us some time. And the seagulls. Okay. Now we're going to take the large, and we're going to stamp it just right here. So we'll ink that up. I like VersaFine because it holds a really nice black line with super detailed image. And I find that the hatch marks and the shading in this are super detailed. So what we're going to do, obviously this is the ocean, this is the sky here. We're going to kind of stamp so the boat is a little bit on the horizon line. Just like so. Very good. I could have inked it up a little bit more, but I think that'll be okay once we heat set it. And then we'll add this other boat right over here, like so. Now we're going to add some black embossed powder to those. This will really pump up that contrast and volume. So we're just going to sprinkle some on here. Tap off that excess. I forgot a very valuable step, which would be using my embossing buddy beforehand. So you get to see how I clean this up, taking a large paintbrush to wipe off some of that excess black powder, because I really should have used my static embossing buddy. But we'll get most of that off, and you'll learn a little tip on how to clean up if you forget and do just what I did. We'll take another little paintbrush, this one, and we'll just come in here to get rid of those. Now we're going to heat set that again. And the magic happens. You can kind of see that black starting to bubble up. And flip it around. I think that looks pretty good. Let's check it out. Yeah. That looks great. Just enough detail, adds nice contrast. Now let's finish our stamping. I didn't want the birds to be glossy. I want them to be a little bit lighter, like they're in the background. So we'll just stamp them there, like they're in the background. That's great. Oh, I already stamped this ahead of time. Set sail in the direction of your dreams. That's just stamped in the Versamark as well. Looks like I'm a little off on my size here, so I'm going to trim that down. The size you want that piece to be, if we look on my card, 1 1/4 by 2 3/4. So we're just going to roughly trim that here. And normally I would use my paper cutter, but since I had already done this, that's pretty close. And trim just a tiny off the bottom there. Not straight there. Whoops, let's use our paper trimmer just to make it straight. Much easier. Oh yeah, that's good. Okay. Now we are going to paint in our boats. So we're going to use, again, the same ink that we used before, the aqua painter that we used before. And we're going to pick up some of this Calypso Coral. It's a little darker. Oh, and I forgot, the bottom of the boats are Pineapple Punch. So if you were wondering what that yellow is, nope, it's not Pineapple Punch. It is Crushed Curry. It looks brighter when it's watercolored. So we're just going to pick up a little of this, and let's make sure that it was that color. I don't know if it was, actually. I think it might be the Petal Pink. Now I'm remembering Petal Pink at full contrast. Yes, that's right. So we're just going to come in here and color that sail. And because this has been heat set, there's a little natural barrier so that the ink doesn't spread. And we'll color the shadow areas a little darker, like so. We'll add some over here. That'll just give us a little bit more contrast between our background and our foreground. There we go. That looks nice. All right, and then let's do some crushed curry here. Let's see if this is the right color. I'll test it down here. I think, yes, that is correct. And then we're going to fill in our boats. The nice part about yellow over the blue is that they're good colors to blend with, so it won't matter so much if your blue shows through. So there's that boat. Kind of give us a little bit of a yellow, blue, or greenish color, but that looks nice. Now we're going to add some definition to our water. Let's do the same thing. We'll open up our Coastal Cabana, and let's take some of that ink, and we're going to come along, just fill in where the stamp image has already given you some natural shadows, or natural reflections, if you will, in the water. We're going to define our horizon line a little bit more. Come out this way. Maybe define it a little bit more on this side and the front. Until we get the effect that we really want. Let's maybe add just a little bit more here. The waters are a little choppy. We'll make this one slightly different than that one. But I like it. That looks really nice. Now, my paper might be a little bit wet still as I was hurrying, so I'm going to flatten this out and I'm going to mount it onto this Sahara sand, like so. And then that Sahara sand will get mounted onto a piece of Whisper White cardstock, like so. And then we will add this little greeting right here. And actually, I think my greeting, I stamped everything a little bit more in the center, so I'm going to have to rig that off to the side a little bit, but that's okay. We'll trim it a little skinnier as well. See, we're card making on the fly. You get to see some alterations. Yes, that will look great. Then we're going to take some linen thread, and we're going to just add a little bit around the top here. So just wrap it 2 or 3 times, however many you think looks good. I think I wrapped it 3, and then we're going to tie just a little knot, like so. Okay, quick knot. And we'll squish this all together, maybe spread it out a little bit as it comes down here. Trim off these edges. And then let's add an embellishment. There's some cute sail away trinkets that go with or coordinate with this stamp set. You get anchors in here, which are darling, and then these little wheels. And we're going to take a wheel and attach it with a Stampin' Dimensional. So we'll just pick that up. Maybe because these are a little hefty, we'll add 2 of those, just right on the back there. And then we'll stick that right on the front like so. So that when we assemble this card, boom, boom, and boom, you will have this. All right, let's assemble our card. It'll be slightly different because some of my measurements on the little tag are off, but we'll add, I added some adhesive. Just use your tape runner or whatever adhesive you like to the back of your watercolor piece, and just visually center that onto that piece of Sahara sand. And I like to put quite a bit of adhesive on the back side so that the watercolor paper doesn't bow at all, so that it maintains a pretty flat look. That looks good there. On my example card, I popped this up with Stampin' Dimensionals. So let's do the same thing here. And before we set that down, let's just do 1 and 2. Let's look at what we're going to have to do to course correct. I think that's okay if it covers. I also think that we trimmed a little more off the top, but maybe we keep that down. I think I'm going to trim a little off the bottom, even more, just so that it doesn't interfere with my boat. Does that look better? Yeah, that looks pretty good. And I'll break my frame a little bit just because I didn't stamp these over to the side. So if you are not stamping with me and you're going to make this card later, tip, offset your boats a little bit. Let's put that down. We'll remove those. And let's place that, where does it look best? Let's place that there. Very good. And then from the back side, we'll just trim off that extra, just because I had to make that fit with these. And there you go. Super cute cards, right? So all of these products, this stamp set, Sailing Home, the trinkets, the aqua painters, the inks, the cardstock, these are all available through Stampin' Up! And you can purchase those through my online store. There's a link below at the end of the video, which will have direct links, if you will, to all the store, the Stampin' Up! Store. And like I mentioned, the VersaFine you can purchase at any scrapbook store. My name is Charlotte Mallet, and I appreciate you taking a minute to watch this video. Thank you so much.